Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Africa Straight Talk. We are Africa's unapologetic podcast that brings you discussions of matters of the African immigrant experience in a very unique and straightforward way. My name is Kaboshi, and we thank you for your unwavering support of our podcast. My co-hosts today are my colleagues, Emmanuel Nadeau, host of Africa Mix and Africa Night at KLW Radio San Francisco, and Kwesi Wilson, host of the podcast Telling Tall Stories. What's up, my peoples?
Yes, our people, our person.
Oh, come on. We need more enthusiasm than that. I mean, we've been away for how long?
Thank you,
Okay, what's up? What's up, my people?
What's happening? What's happening, people?
What's happening?
My
No,
people.
we're not going through that again.
Let my people go.
Your people already went.
the Moses. Let my people go.
Your people already went.
Okay. All right. Kaboshi, it's good to be back.
It is good to be back. I mean,
It's not good to be back. It really isn't good to be back. Yeah, because it's great to be back. Great.
Okay.
We're in 2025. We have a whole lot going on. We took a long break. Like, we're rejuvenated. We're here. So it's great to be back.
Okay.
We survived COVID. We're here. We're great to be back.
Man, we survived COVID so long ago, but there's something else that's coming. Something that was going around that's catching everybody.
Oh, really?
People don't really know.
Another one of these virus?
Yeah. Another one of it. I had it twice. Some people have been getting it 3 times, and I don't get sick. I'm like the true African that doesn't get sick. I'm, built like that.
I see.
You built solid rock.
I'm built solid.
But Ugali makes you not get sick.
Thank you. I'm the true Ugali person. You only Luya once. YOLO.
Yes.
But guys, tell me, we are back. After I don't know how many months we've been away, rejuvenating, as Kwesi said, getting back to trying to, get back to our former selves, and also, growing and maturing in the process. But we are doing this show a little bit differently. One, we're going to rename our episodes, right? We're going to have seasons now instead of just episodes. So this is going to be our season 1, episode 1. I know, very dramatic.
Right.
Indeed,
This
right?
should have gotten a drum roll. Like,
right? Thank you, Kwesi. We needed the drum roll.
needed a drum roll.
Mm-hmm. So the other thing is, we're missing one person. Edwin, one of our co-founders, and we were a trio of 3, has moved on to greener pastures, and we are so happy and so grateful that we had the opportunity to have Edwin on our show, and he'll be coming on once in a while, obviously,
yeah.
And but it's all about growth, and I am all about growth and holding space for growth. That's the new term, holding space. So we wish Edwin all the best, and reach out to him if whenever you can, and say hi to him.
You have his contact, yes. Reach out to him.
Reach out to him and say hello and tell him we miss him.
Right.
Yeah. And the other thing is, while we were away, what did people do with themselves? I mean, did you all just sleep or find new things to do? Like, what were you guys doing while we were on a break?
How would you even say, did we all sleep? Are we pandas?
I don't know. That's what I want to find out. What were you doing?
We're hibernating.
What were you doing, Kwesi?
We're out now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, how long were we gone for?
God, almost 6 months.
6
Feels
months.
like a
6
year
months.
or something.
I've been to Ghana. I've been to Brazil.
Whoa! Wait, what?
Elsewhere.
Brazil?
Yes, Brazil. Brazil,
Okay.
Brazil. Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a bit.
Did you go
Yeah.
to
And
Rio or you went to Bahia or where did you
I
go
didn't
in
make it to
Brazil?
Bahia. I
Uh-huh.
went to Rio. We drove to another place called Búzios,
Okay.
and that's by Cabo Frio.
All right.
Um, and next time I'm going back again. Next time I go, I'll go to Bahia and Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
When is next
Yeah.
time? Do you know?
Next time, oh wow, my stalkers are listening, so I'm not going to review that.
Come on, Kwesi.
My stalkers are listening. It's like, oh yeah, he's in Bahia right now. No,
So how was where were you again? How was it? How
Ghana.
was your trip? Ghana. Yeah, how was Ghana? You go there quite often, so I don't
No, yeah,
know.
we
I
go
mean,
every summer. We take people on
mhm,
tours every summer. But yeah, and that my stalkers know. I'll be there. I'll be back in the summer again. But
mhm.
Ghana is home, and
Yes.
it's interesting being a participant observer. Like
Mhm,
I'm
mhm,
going home,
mhm.
but I'm also observing how diasporas are now flocking into the country and
Yeah.
making things a little difficult for us because prices of everything has gone up
Mhm,
because the locals price everything to foreigners and not the local.
mhm.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so even plane tickets going to Ghana now is ridiculous. But
Oh
yeah,
wow.
Ghana was fun. Brazil was fun. I'm glad to be back here. I'm excited
Mhm.
at this new branded or rebranding that we're doing with the Africa Straight Talk. So
I am
excited
too.
for that.
I am too. I am too. Nado, what did
Yeah.
you do with yourself?
Well, actually, I didn't go anywhere. I was around here, but
Mhm.
I think we all spend these long months of summer time following the presidential campaign of 2024,
Mhm.
which was an historic one because we had the first woman of color running for this prestigious title,
Yeah.
And Kamala Harris' late entry in the campaign invigorated many young women, not only in America, but she brought a lot of enthusiasm and
Mhm.
excitement in many places around the world.
Yep. Mhm.
And we were just bathing in this cycle of
Mhm.
election campaign. Unfortunately, the power to be said that they are not ready for a woman president,
A second time. A second
Exactly.
time. Mhm.
While our next door neighbor, Mexico, have a woman president.
Yep.
So,
Mhm.
Oh, Mexico has a woman president?
yeah, yeah.
Oh my
When
Oh,
did that
God.
happen?
oh my
Kwesi
God.
Kwesi does not know that I'm very
Yeah.
surprised.
You shouldn't be. Let me tell you why you shouldn't be.
Mm.
Ever since the election night,
Mm.
I have not
Mm.
listened to the news.
Oh, well,
Oh,
oh, she was president a long, long
long
time
before
before even
Oh,
that.
okay,
American
okay,
Mm.
campaign. Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I
yeah.
have no excuse then. I don't know. I didn't know.
So,
Wow. Mhm.
yes, these few months have been very consuming. As we are, you know, recording this episode, the 47th president of the United States has been sworn in today. So I think for me, 2024 presidential campaign was really a telling moment in American politics.
Yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
And
Yeah.
the impacts will be felt not now, maybe not in the next 4 years, but
Beyond
in
that.
probably beyond that. That's
Mm.
where we'll
Yeah,
feel the impact of the presidency.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's the interesting thing about politics and policies. Sometimes the effect is not immediate.
Right.
It comes over time.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's what a lot of people are now, like for me personally, I think I'm realizing that right now, like policies take a while for it
Mm-hmm.
to take
Hmm.
effect. Yeah.
So it always gets blamed on the wrong person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
I know.
so we always get blamed on the wrong person.
So true. So true.
And
So
then
true.
the other person, the person who caused it, or the party
Uh-huh.
who caused it, will come
Yeah.
campaigning on
Mhm.
the very thing that they caused as
Uh-huh.
the other person's problem or the other person's
Yeah,
benefit.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's so weird how politics works. For me, what did I do? I just, worked I worked at a nonprofit in San Francisco. And for whatever reason, the holidays just brings this outpouring of overabundant love, and everyone wants to volunteer. Everyone wants to do something good in the months of November and December, and it is extremely overwhelming. And after 5 straight weeks of working 7 days, I decided to take a break, and I went to Hawaii. I'd never been. But then I went there. It was great. It was wonderful. Loved it. But then I learned the history of Hawaii, and I was so upset about being there. And I did not want to be among the tourists.
What was the history you learned? Share with us. What did you learn?
So the history of Hawaii is, it's one of the 50 states of America. Or is it 51? 50 states of America. And America literally just, took it
It's the
from
last
Hawaii.
state, right?
In the 50s, not too far away. We're not talking about 16th or 17th century. We're talking about the 21st century almost. America imprisoned their queen because she wanted to be independent and wanted her people to be independent, and they imprisoned her in the palace until she signed the treaty. Basically, she signed her rights away and her people's rights away to America. And now Native Hawaiians live in reservations on their own land. And they get on a wait list. Once you turn 18, you get on a wait list to get a house on the reservation. And the wait is 20 plus years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yes.
It's almost kind of like colonization.
It is colonization. Yeah. And so that really upset me. All the hotels are, take over all the resources, the water, electricity, like everything. And the natives are just left. Of course. Yeah. And you know who owns land in Hawaii? Mark Zuckerberg. Benioff, Oprah. And they're taking land from the natives. It's just terrible. It's crazy. It's all beachfront property. So it's just a sad state of affairs for the native Hawaiians. But there is a cultural center, really quickly, the Polynesian Cultural Center, which, it basically shows you the cultures of the Polynesian islands, so you have is it 6 or 7 Polynesian islands: Tahiti, Fiji, New Zealand, Hawaii, and it shows their history, their food, their, everything that they have to offer. And that was a good experience. It's about $200, but you know what? It's worth it. Right. So that's what I did.
Yeah, historically in Hawaii, during the reign of King
Kamehameha.
Kamehameha, exactly. Yeah. King Kamehameha, actually, no foreigner was allowed to buy land there. And what's happened, many of these British white folk that came down there, they married into the Hawaiian in order for them to be able to have land.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was until you said that America came and just canceled all this. And
yeah, and a lot of islands do that. If you like, I went to Bermuda one time, and there is no foreigner who can own land in Bermuda. Probably that has changed, I don't know. But even getting jobs is something that is natives first. Yeah.
Bermuda is interesting though, because they don't want independence
from the British. Yeah,
they don't.
They don't. Yeah,
they said it would ruin their country.
It probably would, because they're so dependent on.
They're so dependent. Because Barbados removed themselves from under the British colony and British protectorate now. They can use their tourism,
But speaking about colonization, speaking about government and policy and foreigners in other people's countries, and Nado started with informing us that Trump is now officially the president of these United States of America.
Before you go on, let me interject really quickly. Yeah. So we still haven't revealed our new genre.
Ooh, thank you
What's
for
gonna happen when
that.
you do our genre? You're getting into the
Oh my God.
conversation. But
Mm-hmm.
what are we doing different from what we've been doing all along? What are we
We're going to
doing
be
different?
talking mostly about the African diaspora experience in
Yeah.
America.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
we find that nobody is
Mm-hmm.
really focused on our story, the stories
Yes,
we're writing here in the US.
in the
And
US.
there's troves of stories that is untold about our experience here.
Mm-hmm.
When we come here, how
Mm-hmm.
do we, like, for instance, I'll give you a little example. I live here. I'm
Mm.
known as the guy from Ghana by everyone else. When I
Yeah.
go to Ghana, I'm Ghanaian until I go to Ghana, and then
Mm.
everyone says I'm American. And then I'm
Yeah.
Yes.
not
Yeah.
Ghanaian anymore. I'm
Hmm.
Yeah.
American. And then when I come back here, and so
Yeah.
our
Ghanaian.
experiences are unique. And
Yeah. Yeah.
there's so much
A
to
lot.
say about our experiences.
Hmm.
And we want this podcast to really assess that experience, bring it to the
Mm.
forefront, and then
Mm-hmm.
get us thinking about how we are affected by this and the perspectives that would allow us to be able to contribute both to this land and then to our home countries as well.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for that, Kwesi. You
Mhm.
see, that's why I need you guys here because you keep me in check, you know.
I know
Um,
you got
so
caught up in Hawaii. You want to go back to Hawaii,
well,
and then you
yeah,
left
you know what?
Hawaii to Bermuda, and I was
I
like,
want
wait, where are we going?
we're doing the islands. We're doing the island tours.
Oh, you call it the
um, but
Highland hopping.
now we're doing
Again?
island hopping. Yeah, I like that. But yes, you do bring up a good point. Our podcast is going to talk about our experiences here, everything that affects us here from our daily lives. I know we talk about it, and people think, "Oh my God, your lives are so great." Not really. We're going to talk about education. We're going to talk about relationships.
And we're going to talk about the most eminent one, the
Social
impact
issues.
of Trump
The impact of
election
Trump.
on us.
Yes, on us, because um, it is going to affect us in various ways. Not that good and bad, depending on who you talk to, because there are some people who, first of all, are very very much supportive of Trump, and maybe
So,
that's where we need to start. I mean,
yeah.
Africans supporting Trump. We saw that there are a lot
Mhm.
of immigrants who were were positive about Trump, right? Unlike 2016 when he was running and won, um, and people were repulsed by Trump. But now there's this overwhelming support, especially from the African diaspora, for Trump. I wonder why this is. What could be the reason for this?
And there's a whole lots of reasons for it.
Mm-hmm.
I recently saw a WhatsApp status of some of my friends who had no voted for Trump. They had
Mm-hmm.
gone back to Ghana and they were wearing their MAGA hats walking around Ghana. So that's
Mm-hmm.
another story. But I think that really what drove a lot of Africans to vote for Trump is their stance against the LGBTQIA community, and Democrat support of it, right? So they did a good job, Trump campaign that is, in reaching out to African churches and really trying to peel them away from Democrats, using that as the linchpin to get them to vote against their interests in many other areas. Because this LGBTQIA stance by the Republicans is tied to white supremacy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's tied to white dominion over everyone else here. And
Mm-hmm.
the four key um, political, issues that are all tied to this:
Mm-hmm.
anti-LGBTQIA,
Yeah.
anti-abortion,
Yeah.
right? Pro-gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
And anti-immigration, which
Mm-hmm.
anti-immigration is
Mm-hmm.
going to affect us. But
Yes.
most people who are actually gay are white and they're not reproducing, because 2040 statistics says that the country is going to become a majority minority country. So the
Minority.
white
Yeah.
population is seeing an attrition, right?
Yeah.
And so you have that scaring them. And then you have the immigration thing where they're talking about replacement theory. They're thinking that
Mm-hmm.
immigration policies are designed to bring non-white people into this country, replacing them with black and
Colored
brown
people.
people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then you have what was the third one? The gun.
The
The gun
gun violence.
part is they fear a race war. And if there's going to be anything, say for instance, black and brown people get power, they fear that they will use the military against them and they want to have a fighting chance. This explains why when Obama became president, the gun sales shot through the roof, because they thought Obama was going to use the military against them. They kept saying it. He's going to come for our guns. He's going to come for this. He's going to come
Yeah.
for that. That is a real thing. They want to be ready for it. So we're not going to see any legislation around school shootings and all that stuff because really the whole issue is beyond school shooting. It's about what they see as an existential threat to their survival and their power. And then the final part, which is, what was the other one? The immigration. No, I talked about immigration.
Yeah.
I talked about abortion. Did I talk about
Immigration
abortion?
was the big one. Immigration was the fourth one.
Yeah. I missed one.
No.
I talked about
gun
guns.
rights,
I talked about
gun,
LGBT,
abortion,
if people not have
LGBTQ,
children,
and
abortion,
immigration.
white women. Abortion is the last one. White women are the ones most likely to have abortion, and they're not giving birth to enough white babies. So if you have abortion taken away, then they feel they'll be producing more white babies.
Yeah.
And so they managed to get Africans on one single issue to vote for them on those things. And today, he took out all the DEI, whatever, of all federal employees. He's going to work. He's hitting the ground running. And buckle up.
You are listening to Africa Straight Talk, your go-to place for African immigrant experience.
Also, the other thing is that the idea of strength, right? The idea that a leader should be strong.
Yep. And the woman is weak.
And a woman is weak. But Trump also exemplifies someone strong because of the way he speaks, because of the way, the words that he uses, resonates a lot with a lot of immigrants. Despite the fact that immigrants run away from their original countries because of some of the policies that, like Trump exemplifies, you find immigrants running towards Trump because of these same characteristics, the strength, the way he talks, he's going to be tough on this and tough on that. And like, I don't care what you think because I am going to do something that is good for you and only you. You understand? So he resonates a lot with a lot of people who have trauma. Well, I want to say the word, use the word trauma or some previous experience with tough, so-called tough leaders. That's, that we have in Africa, a lot of them, right? Yeah. So that's also another reason why, people were, a lot of the African immigrants were drawn to, and also toughness means you are a patriot.
Yeah.
Right? So they love that.
You know what was really interesting about that? Nado hasn't spoken yet, but
I'm just waiting for you guys to go ahead. Finish first.
Okay, let me do this quickly so you can get a chance to step in. Every one of us knows somebody who is in the shadows.
Yeah.
That could easily, or in the process of getting the documentation, that is going to be adversely affected by this policy. These policies. But I feel like it's a grand betrayal of your own people.
Definitely. For me, the black people's support for Trump, I don't criticize these black people who supported Trump. They probably, like Poissy said, they have reasons and they are free to choose whoever they like. Just as the other color and brown people who moved into Trump's corner, despite all the named callings and that were addressed toward them, even the Republicans, who love President Trump may be affected by some of his policies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in the excitement, they don't think much about it. I know an African brother who is a great supporter of Trump. Uh, don't mention any negative about Trump.
I think you've talked about him before.
Yeah, and it will go raging against you like a wild beast, you know. But before the end of the campaign, he heard that Trump's intention is to attack the BRICS if they leave the dollar system. Well, this brother went on a rant saying things that we can say here for politeness, but it is so funny that I like to read some of the things that he says.
Yeah.
He said, President Trump, I am still angry with your position. Who the blank you think you are to threaten people who are not white if they decide to leave the dollar for whatever new currency they want to work with. Now, I believe you are a blank white racist. Which right the white created us to tell other if the world that they have to use white European dollars? Who gave America that right? I am very angry. And if you insist on talking and attacking the BRICS, I will burn my American passport and my naturalization certificate and go live in Iran.
Okay, so maybe we need to have this guy on the show. What do you think?
He said, he's going to go to Iran and launch, destroy neo-American imperialists.
Oh, no. Is he going to become a terrorist? I don't know.
Well, you see, that's the kind of thing that, when they support, you just look at it. You don't get upset. You look at it, because they may have the reason, but when it comes back, it's like a boomerang, yeah? You throw it there and it come back and hit you. One other thing, when I see change of guard, I mean, like a peaceful transfer of power every 4 or 8 years in the United States, I really get frustrated with the electoral system in the African continent.
Yeah.
It is
Why is
sad.
that?
It is sad that our leaders at the continent love to practice this constitutional coup to stay in power, and definitely, even if they have to walk on the dead body of their own citizen to cling onto power. Very disappointing. I mean, I'm quite sure they were probably all glued on the TV watching the inauguration of Trump over in Africa, or, but why don't you do the same thing? Every so often change the guards.
Yeah, that's a good question, but we all know what the answer to that is. Because let me tell you really quickly, my mom was in Kenya in December, and everyone there doesn't like the current president. And my mom was asking them, so who do you want to be the next president? And they were like, we don't know. Right? So the other question was, why don't you like this president? And they were blaming Biden for what is happening in Kenya. So Kenyans are supporting Trump because they think that Trump is a better option for Kenya than what is there now.
Well, a lot of them is religious based. A lot of them is religious based, and a lot of them also do not fully understand our political landscape.
Yes. Yeah.
They're far removed. They just see two presidents, and you have many people who feel like they have internet, so they know, right? They have YouTube, so they know. They've been watching it. This is what's happening. You have a lot of them that follow all these televangelists.
Yeah.
And those televangelists support Republican candidates.
Yeah.
Right? So they're taking their orientation from televangelists.
Yes.
And that's really what's and then they'll make all the supporting arguments, from economic to what. But at the end of the day, they're taking cues from televangelists and they're on YouTube watching all these channels. I had a friend argue with me that the Democrats are eating babies.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
she lives
Really?
in
yeah.
Ghana. Yeah, she lives
I
in
mean,
Ghana.
but
And
because they
she's
listen to,
going back.
Oh,
She's going forcefully against
yeah,
me. She came and said it on Facebook. I said, "Who? And like, where are you getting your information from?" She said they're eating babies, and they just,
because they listen to it from the Republicans.
yeah, they were.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah,
she actually heard it from. She sent me the link. It was YouTube, and this pastor was
Yeah.
saying that.
but he heard
Mm-hmm.
that from a Republican because the
Of
Republicans have
course,
sent that
of
too
course.
long
But I'm
time.
talking
Yeah,
about the people in Ghana.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
They're following
yeah,
the
Mm-hmm.
religious leaders. So
yeah,
there's
Yeah.
always what I call the on ramp. Like the freeway on ramp, and
Mm-hmm.
so there's usually an issue, single issue
yeah,
that on ramps you to the Republican camp,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you hate gay people, that issue.
Mm-hmm.
Then
LGBTQ.
when you get on the freeway, they give you everything else, and then now
Everything.
you're one of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
They rope you
so
in. They
yeah, they
rope you
rope
in
you
with
in.
that one single issue. Yeah. That is
And
very near and dear to you.
Mhm.
yeah,
And it's
Kwesi,
usually religious based for the most part.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember that Kamala Harris, when she was still vice president, remember she went to Ghana.
hmm
She was not well received
That
there
is
because
the
she
place
brought
where
the
Ghanaians turned against
exactly.
her. Well,
Yeah,
and Obama too.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Obama too. So then
Mm-hmm.
they started associating Democrats with being pro-gay.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
the thing is,
I,
they don't vote in our elections. But what happened here and was really well done strategically, because I found
mm-hmm.
out after the election, on the day of the
Mm-hmm.
election, how many African churches were preaching and telling their people to vote for Trump, right? Based on that.
Oh.
And they were quiet about it. The outreach was to African churches. It's,
Mm.
the
it's not
thing is that
surprising to
yeah,
me. Today, he signed an executive order
Mm.
taking away birthright citizenship. So if
yeah,
you're born
Can
here,
he
you're
do
not,
that?
well, is going to face legal challenges. He's counting on the Supreme Court to support him.
because they did that in France.
Yes,
Can,
he's
They did
counting on
that
the
in
Supreme Court.
France,
But the
but he
funny
hasn't.
thing is, if you take the birthright citizenship away, then every American that is born here is also not American.
well, I don't think it's going to happen. It will happen moving forward, right? It's an
Unless
executive. They're not going to go backwards because how far back are you going to go?
but these Africans are here. They might have children.
Yes. So if you're thinking of having children, or if you're thinking that you're going to come here pregnant 9 months and have a baby here, then
Oh,
yeah, that will
you
kind
think
of.
you're going to get a visa to come here, right? If you think you're going to get a Ghana is one of the countries that has the highest visa violation rate, right? In the US. And so
It's
the
not
visitors
Nigeria.
visa.
It's not Nigeria. Nigeria is
No,
in
it's Ghana.
England.
It's Ghana.
In
No,
To me,
Nigeria and England, but in the
England,
US is Ghana.
yeah, it's
Ghana.
Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's easier to even go to Ivory Coast and get a visa to US than to get the line is shorter.
Can
And
you
so,
do that as a Ghanaian? Go
yeah,
to Ivory
people do
Coast to
that.
get a visa to the US?
People
Really?
do that, yes. They
Oh,
go elsewhere to go get the visa because it's a US embassy.
yeah.
But if you're trying to get a waiting, like an interview date in Ghana, the wait is 2 years. And the 2-year wait
Oh,
started
crap.
it started with the first Trump
Okay.
1.0.
Yeah.
Wow.
Trump 2.0, you
Zero.
may not even begin the visa to begin with.
Then there's no wait time, as in you're not getting in.
because there was a whole lot of backlog because they didn't want them coming.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want them coming. And
Uh-huh.
there's a whole lot of backlog, and it's going to be even worse for Africans that are trying to come here to visit,
Yeah,
do
that's the
whatever.
thing.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. The policies that like like Kenya depends on America in terms of economic terms, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to change with Trump. Like I read online, I think it was in Yahoo News, that all the online jobs, like Facebook, is now going to stop using third-party companies to help with some of these tasks, like, looking for bugs and checking content,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like verification of content is going to stop, or it's going to slow down, because Facebook is like, well, we are not going to do any more checking of content anymore, fact checking.
Yeah. No fact checking.
Right? And who was doing these jobs? People in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
My brother, for one, I was telling him, now your job is going to be in jeopardy So you better start looking for another job. And the first thing he says, like, well, we love Trump. What? Trump is doing all this shit.
Well, you
Yeah.
see,
Hello?
the thing that people don't understand in
and
Africa. Yeah, go ahead, Kwesi. Yeah, go.
no, you
Kwesi.
go ahead. You go ahead.
No, I wanted to interject that the thing that people don't understand in Africa is that Trump is unpredictable. You see? So he can come from anywhere, left, right, center, and
Yeah.
so it's not a good thing.
Well, what's the word? It says F around and find out.
Yeah.
Yeah. We effed around already. So now it's
We're
finding
about
out
to find
time.
out.
So we're about to find out.
We're about to find out.
We're all buckled up. I'm
Well,
praying to
this
God
is the thing. People are going to be sending a lot of money back to Kenya, more, and back to Africa, a whole lot more than what they did before.
the interesting parts, the aid to African countries. There's this program that allows African businesses, merchandise, merchants to come and sell their stuff here to US, right? Small businesses. These are all those programs are going away. Kiss them bye-bye. Kiss them bye-bye. Because he's focused on America first. That's the mantra that they were talking about. Why give aid to some country that is an SO country, right?
Yeah,
that they don't see,
exactly.
You don't even pronounce the name of the country, Nambia, and
Nambia. It's not just in Africa though. Even Europe, the European countries.
Yeah, he got out of the Paris Accord.
Yeah.
He got out of it.
Today?
Yeah.
Wow.
All the executive orders were signed before he took. Immediately he was sworn in. That's it.
They were just waiting for him to sign it. That's it. It was already written. Yeah. Wow. I mean, the people in NATO, they are just.
You're on your own, basically.
You're on your own. Yeah.
You're on your own.
Yeah. We're moving on to, we live in both worlds. We have the best of both worlds. We have our culture and our roots back in Africa. And then we're starting to have some roots here in America, in our adopted country.
Is it roots or is it branches? I don't know.
Well, I think we're having roots. We're having roots in both places, right? Because let me ask you something, Kwesi. Where are you going to retire, America or in Ghana?
Where the sun is shining on me.
Which is
not my roots.
Where the sun can be shining on you everywhere.
Where the sunshine is.
It could be in Brazil, yeah.
Where are you going to retire?
I'm going to Brazil.
I'm retired already. I'm here already. I'm retired already. I'm here.
Yeah, you're here.
You see,
Nado
has roots here.
We'll go to Brazil. When I retire, we'll go to Brazil.
Okay. I take that.
Don't confuse Nado, please. Do not corrupt him.
Nado is incorruptible.
I know for Brazil, I'll go with you, man. We go
yes.
We go to Bahia. And we be speaking Portuguese.
But you need to know.
To the BEM.
You need to know more than Ola and to the BEM, okay? You need to know more than that so that you can communicate. Please. Please.
So really, let's talk about this.
Yeah. We live in both worlds, right? We got roots here and there. How does that make you feel when you go back to the country that you were born and raised in and everyone is looking at you like a foreigner?
No, not only that. It's not even about being looked at as a foreigner. Being looked at as an ATM machine. That's really the part that gets to me.
That's what I tell my brother sometimes.
You're like an ATM machine on two legs.
I said, people...
That's funny,
and he laughed when I say ATM machine.
People see you, they want to make withdrawal.
Swipe.
They want to swipe.
They want to make withdrawal. People are not trying to deposit. Nobody's depositing. It's just withdrawal.
Right? It's just crazy.
They don't see you as one of them.
But how does that make you feel, though? What emotions?
In the beginning, when I really fully hadn't embraced that, I will go back 99, 2003. I came here in 95. That used to hurt. Like I speak the language. I did this. I did that. Because I was still relatively 4 years in here, not necessarily gone, but they're treating me like I don't belong anymore, right? And you're not from here. I remember I gave my sister's friend, a ride, and we got pulled over by the cop. And before the cop could say anything, she just, oh, he's not from here. And as soon as the cop knew I was not from here, I'm from America, it was a whole different bribe bracket that he's
exactly.
looking for
swipe,
saying that.
Swipe.
You have a bribe
swipe
bracket?
the card.
Yeah, you get into a different. You don't forget you're an ATM machine.
Exactly. Swipe the card. Quick, I'm ready.
The cop sat in the car. When she said that, the cop sat in the car. I almost wanted to punch this girl, because
she knew what she was doing.
The chance to speak the local language or anything. She just started telling the cop that I'm not from here. I don't know the rules. I just came. He should forgive us.
You were the scapegoat.
And yeah.
Oh my God.
But after a while, this is something I actually wanted to write a book about. And I'm happy that we get to do this podcast because I get to talk about all the things that I've been wanting to capture in a book. And I figured people will not read, but they can listen to a podcast. The thing that I came to accept is that I'm a hybrid. I have unique insight that is valuable. If Africans want to develop, they need us. They need that hype because we can able to tap into that, that culture, see the kinks that need to be worked out, and then infuse what we know or we've learned from here. This is what the Chinese did for their countries. Country. The Chinese that were out here, right? They're hybrids, and if we're talking about policy here about Africa, we're the ones that can really give that insight. And we can, because the African that comes from Africa here, they don't know who they're dealing with and how the people they're dealing with operate. We know that. We have the unique understanding of the white system and we have a unique understanding of our system. And if anything, when we leave our continent, we develop a better, clearer understanding of the mechanics of how things work in that culture. Because it's sort of like the fog of war. If you're in the middle of a war, it's hard to know the mechanics of what's happening. All you're trying to do is you're trying to survive and you're in survival mode. Almost everyone in Africa is not really understanding or learning the mechanics of how things work or how we behave or why we do what we do, right? We're just trying to survive. We're just trying to put food on our table. But when you leave and you come here, you're able to look back. Like you break up from a relationship, you get to understand the mechanics of the relationship and why you were doing things that you didn't understand when they were happening, right?
Yeah.
And so we get that unique perspective. We look back in the rearview mirror, we analyze what was happening, and then we're able to understand it in ways that people who are still in it cannot see. And that is the strength we come with. And I started embracing that. So
do they realize that is a strength that is supposed to help them? Or is it that we haven't figured out a way to advocate that as a strength?
I believe living in two worlds is a blessing for us, African diasporans. And just like Kwesi said earlier, it gives us an edge in a way that we see things globally. I think it's good for our professional career and mental emancipation as well. I think the only time that I see this as an issue is when we go back home for vacation or even returning good, home. And, like Kwesi said, they call us American. This is American. When they see you, they say, oh, here goes the American. And it is like we are no longer one of them. I can see that because they have a different mindset and different ways of processing their thought, And then sometimes they will be wondering why is he doing this, and sometimes I would wonder myself. I say, why this guy is doing this way and not that way.
But that's the thing, because you're going back into that community, so they haven't changed. The person who's changed is you, right?
Yeah.
So you've forgotten how they think, how they communicate, how they
I don't
process
think
things.
you've forgotten.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You haven't forgotten, and the thing
You haven't
is,
forgot.
you still know it. You
You
just
still
have
know it. Yeah,
evolved, right?
yeah,
And the
yeah.
thing that we have to do is really, because one of the things they hate the most, more than anything else, is to see one of their own come back and tell them what to do.
That,
Exactly.
yeah. Oh, thank you.
You know,
Yes.
to see one of their, oh, they resist that
Yeah.
And
because
that's why I'm saying it's
they'll rather get that same message from a white person or someone else. But for one of them, so
they
how
don't like it. Yeah.
package your messaging to them, in a way that is inclusive. But then a lot of the times when you go and you're working with them, they still see you as an ATM machine.
They
Hmm.
They're
do.
looking at what they can make personally, not what the country can make,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
personally from you. And
Yeah.
that tends to be the challenge because they're not there as people who want to solve problems. They're
Mm.
there to
Enrich
self,
themselves.
serve themselves,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so that is the disconnect.
Mm.
What
China,
I
on
mean,
the other hand, China
mhm,
wanted to build their country.
yeah,
But do you think as human beings we are almost similar in character and nature? And for China to have succeeded in that quest to make their country great using their diasporans, they had a strong leader. They have a strong leader who forced them to do that. They practically shut the whole world out and said, "We are going to do things that is best for us." Right?
yeah. I mean,
It took leadership and fortitude.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
It takes leadership and fortitude. I mean, really, because they instill in the mind of the. I mean, the thing is that China was very poor, huh? Like 50
Mm.
years ago,
Mm.
and I remember there was a French journalist who wrote to this big book. He said, when China wakes up, the world gonna shake, and this is really what's happening. You
Yeah.
know, they instill in their mind that you have to get into agriculture so you can be self-sufficient in terms of food,
Hmm.
and it's all with the government help. And
Yeah.
like what you said a while ago, again, it's like for us, the people come to government not to help the people, but to enrich themselves.
Hmm. Hmm.
This is that we can go anywhere. We have fertile land that we know that we have all the natural resources in the world, but
Mm.
look where we are. So
Yeah.
it takes really leadership and uh, uh, strength,
Testicular fortitude.
testicular fortitude, like I like to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
I don't know if
Absolutely.
fortitude can. I have an issue with testicular fortitude, but let's carry on.
We shall discuss that another day. And that's the reason why we are doing this podcast, because we need our wonderful brothers and sisters on the continent to understand the lives that we're going through, what it is that we're going through here, how it is we live here, so that they can be better informed and hopefully, fingers crossed, not treat us like, as Kwesi says, ATM machines. Because
Hmm.
we have enabled them to do that. Because every time they cry for money, we give,
Yeah.
right? We can't, they pull on our heartstrings. But hopefully, we're going to be talking about um, mental health and, how what that does to us in this country. We're going to talk about love, about relationships. We're going to talk about education. We're going to talk about, ooh, what else? Business,
Family.
We're going to
family,
talk about a lot of things that we
health.
can't even think about right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, too many.
Too many.
And so that's what this podcast is going to be about. It's going to be by us for us. And I'm very excited actually. I have no
I
words.
am. I am
Right.
too. I
Yeah.
am
It's
too.
just it's a
Now that
way
Hmm.
to. I mean, people come here. They want to navigate this country.
Hmm.
They have a
Hmm.
platform they could go to for
Yeah,
information on that. We're going
absolutely.
to be bringing experts. We have
Oh
a
yes,
plethora of people. We all know
absolutely.
Africans are in every discipline over
Hmm.
here. We
Yes.
have a wealth of knowledge within our ranks, right? And so we're going to
Hmm.
bring experts to give us their expert input on
Yeah.
a wide variety of topics. So I'm really excited about this. I'm really looking forward to being able to shape this podcast as the go-to place for African immigrant information or, you know, point of view.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
So,
Extremely excited.
Kaboshi, let's say thank you to Kwesi. He's fully on board now with us. He's no longer a guest
Woohoo!
collaborator.
Yeah.
He's one of us now fully, and we really appreciate him being here.
I feel like you guys just are saying I was promoted.
You were promoted. And you know
Right.
what? You did that. You introduced me to Ghanaian food, which was great.
Are you saying I bribed you for my promotion?
Of course you did. Which African doesn't bribe? Shit.
Oh, man.
Right.
Africa Straight Talk is presented by me, Kaboshi, Emmanuel Nadeau, and Kwesi Wilson. Your support is greatly appreciated, and let us know what you think of our show. You can find us wherever you find your favorite podcasts. We are on X at African Stock, and you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram by searching Africa Straight Talk. And of course, don't forget to tell your friends about us. To become a sponsor of our growing podcast, email us africastraighttalk@gmail.com. Until next time, I'm Zenado.
Thank you for listening to this episode. We invite you to check back here for our next one. In the meantime, be safe, be well, and love one another.